Khan Janjua to address the participants. You have the floor, sir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Before I speak on Kashmir under siege, the issue which is always very close to our hearts, let me first of all congratulate and appreciate Pakistan Embassy in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, Honorable Ambassador Mr. Raja Ali Ijaz, ever handsome, ever smart, and Brigadier Haroon, my very dear student, and the whole of the team at the embassy for holding this international webinar on Kashmir of strategic significance. It's a great endeavor in righteous direction to express our solidarity with our Kashmiri brethren and to tell them that our heart beats with them and for them. I'm also grateful to the participation of distinguished guests, scholars and practitioners, and all others who have chosen to willingly participate, register, and voice their support for the misery-stricken and brutally wounded Kashmiri people. We have had some immaculate speakers here. We have all stood together to share the grief and pains of Kashmiri people. There have been very plausible suggestions and recommendations made by these eminent speakers. We need to carry them through to seek a peaceful and political solution of Kashmir and collectively bring an end to the miseries of our Kashmiri brethren. I will try and not be repetitive of those recommendations which we have already made. Now coming to Kashmir, ladies and gentlemen, Kashmir, though called as heaven on earth, as referred earlier, but when we think of Indian-occupied Kashmir, its history is marred with pains and anguish. Indian-occupied Kashmir has been in constant flames ever since the partition of the subcontinent. The flames of this fire are fueled by the philosophy of might is right by India and the sleeping conscience of the world. These flames speak volumes, particularly on the indifference demonstrated by the world. And ladies and gentlemen, global power politics of the world powers, its trends and drivers, watching and safeguarding their own interests only, can sometimes overshadow human values and betray the morality. Kashmir being the longest and unresolved dispute on the agenda of United Nations presents one such classic example. There has been a support for Kashmir from various quarters of the world, and there have been some strong and sane voices and personalities who understand the grievous situation and have asked for the peaceful solution of Kashmir through political means. And we, as a peace-loving country, are extremely grateful to them and acknowledge their support for Kashmir with great national respect. But largely, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, Kashmir exposes the mysterious and callous silence of dumb and numb international community. Unfortunately, Kashmir exposes self-serving power politics of the world players who can turn a blind eye to unprecedented human rights violations, atrocities, abuse, and brutalities committed by India on innocent Kashmiris. Yes, Kashmir and poor Kashmiris and their injuries showcase the double standard of the world. They go on to prove that political, ideological, economical interests surpass humanity, even in the civilized and modern world of 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, Kashmir was always bleeding, but this time on 5th August 2019, Kashmir has been given a bloodbath and converted into a biggest jail on earth by abrogating Article 370 and 35A of Indian Constitution. I would like to dwell further on this because we really need to understand. Cashing at its newfound relevance to the world as counterweight to China in the region, India has made a very crafty move, hiding behind its newfound relevance. Special status of Kashmir has been dismantled by abrogating Article 370. Ladakh has been separated from Jammu and Kashmir, which implies breaking the cohesiveness from within, a divisive strategy from within to defeat the plebiscite-based solution of Kashmir as held in UN resolution. So do we understand the strategy, which is so much divisive? And then comes the actual war tactic, that is abrogation of Article 35A, which allows non-Kashmiris to come and buy properties and live in illegally Indian-occupied Kashmir. Ma'am Mashal Malik has adequately given details on that. So I will not go in that. But I will say that this is really a degenerated, nefarious, and heinous ploy to crush and destroy the Kashmir freedom struggle. This is not only to change the demography, but this ploy is to take over all the businesses, properties, amenities, institutions, facilities, assets, belongings, holdings, and real estate to subdue the Kashmiris by destroying their economy and sustenance. As a heinous design, Kashmiris will be left to die with hunger and disease if they do not submit to the state and give up their freedom struggles. With the Iron Curtain drawn, capitalizing on the world's insensitivity, using its might against helpless Kashmiris, this is the actual plan to defeat the freedom struggle by abrogation of Article 370 and 35A. This is the design which is not only to marginalize Kashmiris, but to make them menials. India clearly is an immoral usurper. And here's a big question. In the evolving and envisaged environment, will the people of Kashmir be able to carry the freedom struggle forward? Ladies and gentlemen, I would therefore say we don't have much time, like 5 years, 10 years. No, sorry. Otherwise, the situation will become soon irreversible. Having said that, let me now identify for our way forward that where resides the key of way forward. It resides in four things. One, the world awakens to Kashmir. Number two, Kashmir struggle continues. Number three, attempt to engineer demographic change fails. Number four, UN stands to its grounds and resolves the issue according to its resolution. Having identified all these four key areas, I do have my faith that we are a very resilient and a versatile nation. For all four, we can find solutions. A lot is to be discussed indoor because we need to do that as well. But on the whole, we would require a whole of the nation approach. We need a serious focus on Kashmir. We cannot lift our eyes from the ball, which is Kashmir. If we do that, we are losing it. So, whole of the nation approach. And like the suggestions of special envoys have already been given, we really have to be around the UN. Because that's what we say, that we want to resolve the Kashmir issue as per UN resolutions. We should really sit at the door of UN, which means always under focus. And we should also awaken the world for peaceful solution of Kashmir. I also want to lay a question before for a ponder. If you are a member of an organization, but you defy and dismantle its resolution, do you deserve to be its member? We need to look into that direction. And we have to declare India as an immoral user. Very briefly, freedom struggle needs more enduring input. Since I have mentioned a world awakening, to the world I would like to say, the situation has the potential to worsen and intensify further, which is going to stress the strategic stability of the region. It's already said that we are not only two, but more nuclear powers involved in this. And if the pathetic plight of Kashmiri is falling on the deaf ears and blind eyes of the world, and is of our least concern to the world's conscience, at least the world must take cognizance of the potential confrontation between the two nuclear states and its terrible consequences. Pakistan and India have already fought 3 wars and have a history of long-standing hostilities. There's a dire need for the world's community to intervene for the sake of peace and stability of the region and of the world on the whole. Vision of future century belonging to Asia should not be marred by the biases for India only. Since the bilateralism has been failed by India, with the help of the world community, we need to reduce the tension. We need to reduce the tension and evolve a UN-based mechanism for result-oriented dialogue involving Kashmiri people and move towards dispute resolution. Realizing that political disputes cannot be resolved through use of force alone, immediate relief must be provided to Kashmiris against excesses of security forces, and their compelling needs must be addressed. Ladies and gentlemen, the world must seize the opportunity and avail the situation to diffuse Kashmir from being a flashpoint. Instead, Kashmir should be transformed into a key to peace, since the peaceful settlement of Kashmir will secure the region and the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's send out a clear message to the world to make the world a peaceful place by using Kashmir as a key to peace. And let's give clear message to our Kashmiri brethren on both sides of the line of control that you are our own blood. You are our kith and kins. You are part of us, and it was for you that upon our inception we ran bare feet to save your freedom. For you we have fought numerous wars. For you we have given our blood and sacrifices with conviction. Your unflinching resolve, unwavering self-reliance, unflagging zeal for a shared future with Pakistan is our asset and essence. May I reiterate for you, as an ordinary Pakistani and as from Pakistan, we will never give up on you or on Kashmir. Kashmir runs in our blood. Kashmir is our moral stand and a jugular vein where everyone, oldest to the youngest, is united. All political parties have one stance. We all are there for you. Indeed, Kashmir is our unison. In the end, ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate, we need a peaceful, we work for peaceful solution of Kashmir by political means. We do not monger war, but we are not reluctant either. We are exercising restraint, maturity, and credibility, since we are a mature and a credible nation. I thank you all. I'm grateful that you invited me on this seminar, or on this webinar of international significance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Indeed, a pleasure to have you with us. Western values have surpassed humanitarian concerns. And as you very rightly put, dumb and numb international community continues to be oblivious to this very gross human rights violation